malicious stuff into it, inject malware, and deliver it. So what will happen that you will have a supposedly secure website, and then you will have some malicious JavaScript that will come from inside, and it will go into your browser, it will go into the page, and it will basically have the same privileges as the entire website and the entire application. And at that point, the game is over, and there's nothing else that you can do to preserve your security. Now, on the screen here, you have the security warning that Firefox will give you unless you've previously dismissed. For example, with Firefox, there's no way that you will ever be secure because there's no way for you to prevent insecure requests. I think some other browsers are better. For example, Google Chrome will not submit insecure requests. Internet Explorer will ask you whether you want insecure requests to go through or not, in which case you should always say no. So in this particular case, Firefox is not really the best choice. And the one thing that's really shameful is that at Firefox, they've known about this problem for about 6 years now, and there's a bug request on their website, in their bug tracking system, and they haven't done anything for 6 years to fix it because supposedly it's too difficult. Anyway, this is my message for today. I think that SSL presents a very rare opportunity in the security space where things can be done on almost 100% secure. In most cases, it will take you a very brief period of time to actually go and fix these things. And I'm saying is why not get this one thing right? So in many ways, I think we in security space, we chase the latest, the coolest, fashionable thing, something that interests us from a technical perspective. But I think we need to go back to basics and focus on our basic building blocks of security and try to get them right. Only by building a secure foundation of proper these security blocks is that we can actually improve security overall. And that's all I have for today. And I think we have a few minutes for some questions. Yes, sir?
You mentioned that you should use secure cookies. How do you make a cookie secure?
It should be in your, so the question is about secure cookies and how do you make cookies secure. There should be a feature in your programming library. When you're creating a cookie, there's a flag that you need to set on it and say, I want to make this cookie secure. If you're creating a cookie directly, by directly creating the response header, you just need to append a semicolon and the word secure at the end. And that's all you need to do.
What is the argument that we still use HTTP and not HTTPS? Like if you have a website that at some point has an authentication and they tell you, I will use HTTP, and when I'm going to get authentication, I will be there.
I think the argument in most cases is performance, but there are really two issues. One issue is that there can only be one secure website per IP address, and that's the technical limitations. Most browsers support, there's a feature that allows virtual hosting for SSL, and most browsers support it. Internet Explorer on Windows XP does not support it, and because of it, the internet we are still forced to use one IP address per SSL website. So that's a huge issue. If we wanted to take all the 300 million websites today and make them secure, we would need to have 300 million new IP addresses, which is difficult to find, and imagine all the administrative overhead that is there. The other issue is performance. And the issue of performance always comes up with SSL. There's no doubt that using SSL results in a slightly worse performance. And there are two aspects to it. One aspect is the increased latency, whereas when you open a normal communication channel, it's usually 3 packets that are exchanged. With SSL, there's a SSL handshake that has to be performed with every connection, and it's slightly more involved. The other, so there's that added latency, which the penalty is noticeable or can be noticeable. The other is if you have a very large company with hundreds of servers, although the performance overhead of SSL is not that big, if you already have hundreds of web servers, you will notice the added performance of SSL. It's very nice to see the big companies, even the big companies, actually making a push for SSL. For example, even Google has made available the secure search facility, where you can now go and actually submit your search over SSL. And if they're doing it, I'm guessing that everyone else is eventually going to do it as well. The question was why is that some sites insist of remaining plain text and not using SSL throughout. My view is that entire internet should be SSL only or protected in any way that's necessary, and we shouldn't really have any plain text websites at all. And that's going to be the only way that's going to make us truly secure. So if you type mybank.com in your browser, the browser will submit a non-SSL request first. If you are in an insecure environment and there's a man in the middle, he will take that request and potentially hijack, and because the browser will open the page. So the attacker will potentially hijack that first page. And at that point, he's controlling your experience completely. And so when you click on the login button, which usually there is a login button on the banking website, the attacker may see a link for the secure website, but he may rewrite it and keep you on an insecure path. Or he can take you to a completely different website, which will be secure, but it will be a site that they control, and he will proxy all your requests to your banking website. So he will have full access to your internet account. If you have a secure bookmark, the first page it will open will be the secure web page, which the attacker cannot compromise.
But if you write HTTPS in the beginning of the URL?
If you write HTTPS, and if you remember to write HTTPS every single time, then you're fine. But I was not able to do that. You know, I clicked enter and then I realized, oh yes, I didn't do that. And it's really boring and difficult to do that every time, to live in this environment where you're afraid of what is everything the bad that can happen to you. It really gets to you after a while. I think we've run out of time. Thank you very much for being here, and